Would you mind going ahead, starting saying what your name and spelling it for me, and then just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what your title is
Mm-hmm.
and what you teach here?
Okay. My name is Timothy Beach, and I'm a professor of geography and environment. My areas of research are soils and soil erosion and broader environmental science. And I teach courses on watersheds and water quality and soils here in geography, and I get students from across the board. So Beach is Beach, and so I'm a professor here in this particular field. So.
Okay, great. Can you kind of go into a little bit about like how the current like water boil situation has like affected you personally in any way?
Well, I mean, it affects everybody here because we know we have to boil all the water that we have for at least 3 minutes. So all of us are boiling it for longer than that because we're always worried that it's not quite 3 minutes. And so I've been doing it like everybody else, and bought some bottled water along the way too. But I've worked in the developing world, so I'm very used to using bottled water, or boiling water, or treating water in a variety of ways. So I work in Central America and in the Middle East, and have traveled all over the world in places that have real poor quality water, which we're just getting a little taste of for a short period of time here in Austin.
Okay, great. And then can you kind of explain like why the water crisis is happening right now, kind of like what caused it and
Yeah.
like where we're at right now with that?
Yeah, so the cause, so the largest, we could argue that the largest environmental problem of the world is soil erosion. I can argue that as a soil scholar and scientist. The reason why I say that is because it's the largest source of water pollution, and water pollution causes more harm to humanity than just about any other thing. Maybe air pollution is just as bad when we look at it. But water pollution kills hundreds of thousands of people a year, if not more, from a variety of different sicknesses, and it leads to tremendous environmental impacts like the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico, which is a direct product of things just like this. On the longer term, we've had this since the early 1990s, this dead zone. And now we're experiencing a small scale version of that here in Austin through our water networks because of soil erosion caused by tremendous overland flow and tremendous amount of rainfall. The problem is that the rainfall occurs and it takes away soil. The soil has within it a lot of different pollutants, things that would normally be nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus wash down into the water, and they create all sorts of problems in the water. But moreover, they're carrying with them fecal bacteria like E. coli and other kinds of fecal bacteria and cryptosporidium and a variety of other things that can cause sickness in humans. Some of these are easily treatable when we clean the water correctly. The system here is a very good system in Austin, but it's just simply overwhelmed by the amount of water and the amount of sediment flowing through it. We know that whenever you get sediment in water, you're going to get with it a lot of this bacteria and a lot of cryptosporidium and a variety of other things that are much harder to treat. And they, as I always say, just overrun the system.
What are kind of like the long-term health benefits for say like I know like a lot of people in the community like don't have like they can't afford to buy like bottled waters and like especially like the homeless population like if they're drinking the tap water what are like the long-term health benefits?
Well, there's some big problems for people who can't have access to clean water, and we can see that from the developing world by even life expectancy of people from the long-term buildup, a variety of sicknesses people get. There are a variety of as I say, bacteria, viruses, all of which that can come from this, as well as a group of other kinds of microbes that all can cause different kinds of diseases that won't kill you directly, but lead to a variety of other sicknesses that may end up damaging the length of your life. Some people can actually die, though, directly from water poisoning, and there are some examples of this. There was an example some years ago of a cryptosporidium getting into the water supply of the city of Milwaukee, and thousands of people got sick because of it, and there were some deaths associated with that too. So we have to be very careful, especially those prone populations, people who, one, can't afford clean water, and two, or people who ignore it at your peril because it will get you sick, and look at much of the developing world today as a good example of that. For people who are homeless, this is a real problem because they really don't have sources other than public drinking fountains, which are going to be polluted. They probably, in many cases, don't have sources to boiling it for 3+ minutes or so as well. And that's a key thing, is to make sure we boil that water.
Yeah, absolutely. So why do you think like the boil warning was extended? Because I know originally
Yeah.
it was only for a few days, and now
Yeah.
yesterday they came out and said that it might last 10 to 14 days.
What happens in plants is they go through and they're not sure how much pollution has gotten into the water.